Welcome. We're back again with a top tier podcast. I'm Alf,
I'm Alex.
and yeah, absolute pleasure to have you joining us again, having a
Welcome.
general conversation today. So,
Yeah,
how's the week been?
yeah, man. Week's been good. Yeah, week's been really good. Apart from the elephant in the room, as of today, interest rates gone up by
Yeah.
0.5%. So base rate's at 5% now, which is a bit crazy.
Okay. So, what does that mean for the average Joe who doesn't know what that means?
Well, yeah. So what it means is that the Bank of England has obviously increased the base interest rate, which means that they're trying to obviously combat inflation. But what that ultimately means is that your credit card bill, that interest rate, probably going to go up. In terms of mortgages, the mortgage rates, that's going to go up as well. So it's a bit of a tough, you know what I mean? It's a tough time for the nation, to be honest with you, when I looked at it. But at the same time, a lot of people saying that because of that, then potentially house prices will drop as well.
Right.
So again, it's like it's harder to get mortgages, but if you buy in the right area, if you can get something a bit cheaper and you can actually get onto the ladder, it's actually not a bad time to obviously get into the market as well. Which is, you know what I mean? It's not, it's you know what I mean? It swings and roundabouts because here's the thing: when interest rates are low, house prices are high. So that's when it's literally like a trajectory going up. But obviously, like when interest rates are high, generally speaking, we was just kind of thing like we're going to obviously go into recession. But it's interesting, man. It's tough times for like if you ain't got your money where your money right at the moment, it is pretty tough, to be fair. It is pretty tough. But again, this is why we even do these podcasts anyway. We've had some great guests that's obviously brought their expertise into the industry.
Yep, for sure.
Showing you, we had one recently, Ryan, who gave a lot of side hustles and
Oh, plenty of gems in that one.
yeah, exactly. So it's one of those ones. It's like, look, guys, like we're in this weird time right now. It's getting real. Recession's happening, but at the same time, it's about actually putting your thinking cap on and being like, right, how do I leverage? How do I pivot? And what can I do to obviously get myself out of the situation that I'm in and actually use the recession as an advantage? Because they always say that the best time to get rich is actually during a recession.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and this is, and it's the best time to start businesses. So,
For sure. And yeah, I think the important thing is the education, taking the time to educate yourself on financial matters. There's so much information out there on YouTube. You know, there's no doubt we'll have more guests who can give you some real gems in different areas. So we had the Amazon FBA
yeah.
with Ryan, then also Hass with the modeling
Yeah.
industry and setting up his agency.
Yeah.
But then also from a financial standpoint, the reason I say education is let's look at when it's tough times like this, you need to know what you're doing. Like fundamentals, basic one. As soon as you say credit cards, I know a lot of people don't really understand things like balance transfer cards on 0%, for example. So a lot of people get caught in a trap where the tapping away on the credit card fundamentally is wrong because what you spend, it shouldn't be liabilities that you use a credit card on. Yeah, you can leverage debt to make money, but if you're using it on liabilities, then it doesn't make sense. And that comes down to a lack of education. So a very quick win.
Give them an example.
Yeah, hopefully your credit is in a suitable place. If you're paying interest on credit cards, simply go on a website, Money Supermarket, put your details in. Say you're looking for a balance transfer card, 0%. It might be over 24 months, 4% fee to do the transfer. But what that does is you can now, hopefully you get approved based on where your credit is. You do the balance transfer from those credit cards onto the 0%, the 4% fee or whatever that total was, then goes onto the new card. The expectation would be for you to make sure you clear it within X amount of months, right? Don't get too comfortable paying minimum payments.
Because that's the thing. That's
Don't get
that
too
Yeah. Because I
comfortable.
was about to
Yeah.
say that I guess when if you do that, obviously it's the monthly minimum charge is going to be lower. So the average person might think, oh, that's some breathing room.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they just sleep on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one thing I always say is the important thing is control. The fact that it's not necessary for you to put a heavy amount on a monthly basis. That doesn't mean sleep on it. It means you have choice now. You can look at ways, okay, so this extra money that I've saved, is there a way to turn that into more money, which allows me to clear these down even quicker?
So like an additional like £100, just use that as a round number.
Exactly that. But it depends that no matter what the scale of your disposable income, there is always a way you can invest and turn money into money. You can always make flips, but it comes down to education. Like Ryan was saying on the last one, the Amazon FBA. you look at, you don't have to start with the big products. There's some cheap and cheerful products you can start on if you do the right analysis.
Yep.
And go into that lane. There's plenty of opportunities out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I said there's plenty of opportunity, and as I said, and if we're going back even onto like the mortgage, because here's another thing as well. I think what a lot of people are going to get burnt is that if they say that they had a 2 year mortgage, a mortgage 2 years ago, the mortgage is running out. Time to do the refinance. And because of that, they might have maxed out. Because what's generally tend to happen is that when people get onto the property ladder, is that they basically max their limitations. And what I mean by that is that they'll buy their house where they can just barely scrape,
Just about
make the mortgage. So that yeah, I got the house that I wanted just to get onto the ladder. But sometimes they might have like, gone above their means on that aspect of getting maybe that little bigger house or that that nicer area. But what happens is that after a while, the interest, as I said, like the mortgage time for renewal, the interest rate's higher. It's sometimes double. So nowadays, like you could have been paying, for example, 1,400 a month, and now you're remortgaging, and then now your new payments are around about 1,700 to 1,800 a month. And if you haven't got that additional £400, then you're pretty much stuck.
Yeah, especially because the way the prices have inflated, even just in this last 2 years,
Crazy.
You know, so I'm pretty sure people's budget sheets have now increased significantly.
Right.
The outgoings have gone up. So
Right.
now, when you take into account that point you just made, sticky water.
Yeah, it's definitely. But then again, I know I keep banging home about it, but this is why I always say sometimes it's good to rent where you live.
Yeah.
And but as long as you've got assets to subsidize that, I know I've been homing on it for a couple of podcasts. Is because the problem is that when you live in a home, that's your home. That's your sanctuary. In terms of like where you live, where you want to lay, and the fact that you now know that you got that extra income, that extra expense that's coming that you wasn't planning for, you haven't got that additional income. Now your home's compromised.